Okay, well, welcome, Common Sense Warriors. This is our first Common Sense Warriors broadcast, post-COVID outbreak pandemic edition. So we're doing things a little differently. Reiner, welcome to Common Sense Warriors from a remote location that we're not going to disclose.
Yeah, this is a brown bag location.
Reiner's in the Reiner bunker, and our guest today is Freda Lombard. Freda is a wonderful painter, and she is the owner of Zealous Art. It's a studio slash art party slash I don't know, entrepreneur slash whatever you want to call it. So Freda, thanks for coming on the show.
Oh, thank you for having me. This is exciting.
Cool. Well, we got you fooled, don't we? So, Freda, thanks for coming on. Just wanted to, thank you first of all before coming on, and then we're gonna this probably won't be aired before this, but our how Freda and Reiner and I kind of got to know each other is through one of the paint nights. We did a charity paint night to raise funds for some charities that we work with, and Freda did the paint night for us, and it was so much fun. I didn't even realize I liked painting until I did that. And so I did it with the kids. And then when this COVID thing came down and everybody was stuck in their houses, Freda started doing paint nights on her Facebook Live for free. And I got wind of that on Facebook because we became friends. And then my family and I started doing the paint nights together. And it's just been so much fun. So we said, well, let's do the paint night, but we'll do it virtually for the charity because we have one upcoming and we're going to raise money. So we have sponsors and all that other type of thing. So Freda's been wonderful to work with for all of this. So Freda, thank you so much for that before we even start. So why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself, Freda? I know that I can tell if you listen to Freda talk, she's not from Canada. So Freda, let's tell us a little about yourself. Where'd you come from? How'd you get here, and where you want to go?
Okay, so I was born and raised in South Africa and came to Canada 11 years ago. So just a few days ago, I celebrated 11 years in Canada. I used to work as a third-party systems engineer for Alcatel back in Johannesburg, and then landed here. And after a few months here, my husband bought me an easel as a gift. And I started painting, and when friends came over, it would be rude if I want to paint and they just sitting there. So I gave them canvases and people started painting with me. So I've been in Canada 11 years and started painting, started teaching, and 3 years ago, I quit my full-time job to just paint.
Wow. And what was your full-time job before that then in Canada?
911 operator at Ecom in Vancouver.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How was that? I bet you can tell some stories.
Oh, I can. Yeah, it was a crazy time. I did it for 4.5 years, and I always looked forward to the 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. quiet time so I can bring out the watercolors and sit and paint or my coloring pencils just to slow the mind down.
Yeah.
But that was a crazy time. Yeah, shift work.
We actually have one of our members in my network in TRBN is actually a 911 operator now, Tammy Baines. She's been down there for years and years.
Yes, I know. We used to carpool together, me and Tammy.
Oh, so you know Tammy?
I know Tammy very well. Yes.
Wow.
That's excellent.
Very cool. And so when you moved to Canada, why did you guys move to Canada in the first place?
Well, we came for the kids. Like literally, life in South Africa it's not the safest place to stay. And I had 2 boys, and we were thinking of moving to Australia because we used to run a scuba diving school in South Africa. So we were planning on going to Australia and maybe do some scuba diving there. I worked at Alcatel, which had a Alcatel University in Australia. So I did all my certifications the year before we came to Canada. So we were planning on leaving. And then my husband had an amazing job offer, and it took us literally 15 minutes to decide. We were just looking for the place to sign the papers.
Yeah.
After we signed, we Googled to see where Vancouver is, because we know we're going to Canada, but we need to figure out where that is. And yeah, and then we packed up. We closed our scuba school, which only launched 4 months officially before we got the job offer here. So we were scuba diving for 7.5 years, eventually got the school going, gave it a name, registered it, and then the job offer came in Canada, and we packed up and we came here.
Wow.
Crazy, I know.
How old were your kids when you moved here?
They were 7 and 10.
Oh, that must have been something else for them.
It was.
How was the transition for them?
Well, it only took them 2 weeks to lose the South African accent.
Really?
I would walk into my house and hear these kids, and I'm like, is this my kids? And I would walk into the room, and there they are, and they had these Canadian accents, which was beautiful. My younger son, he's now 18, hardly speaks Afrikaans. He can speak Afrikaans, but I'll speak Afrikaans and he'll reply in English. My oldest son still speaks Afrikaans to us, but yeah, they absolutely love it here. They're 18 and 21, and they would still come to me and say they are so grateful we made the move. You miss the family and you miss life there, but the freedom and everything that we have here is just amazing. So lovely.
Yeah, yeah. We're kind of limited in our freedom right now, as we can see with all this stuff, but
I know.
let's hope that some sanity comes in. So have you always painted? Have you always been a painter and an artist?
I've always been a very creative and artsy person. So even in South Africa, but I did scrapbooking, I did fabric painting. I started doing a little bit of painting on canvas. So I've always been a creative person, but it was literally just for fun, and maybe, I don't know, once a month or once every 3-4 months I would do something creative. I did paint a mural in my son's bedroom once, but not like here. When I came here and I started painting, I didn't realize in South Africa I didn't do that much of my own stuff. It was always just, it's printed out and you paint inside the lines. And then I came here, and when Tien's bought me the easel, I started painting, and I just couldn't stop. I just painted, and people came over, and I want to show everyone, and everyone is talking. What I like most about the painting is not just the painting itself, it's what happens to you while you're painting, how your heart rate, you slow down, your mind slows down. There's always that clarity afterwards. So yeah, so not always. Busy with kids, of course.
Yeah.
South Africa, when I got here, I wasn't working, so that's when I started painting more and more.
That's wonderful. And so you just kind of learned on your own and taught yourself how to do all of these, because you have, I don't know, you have hundreds of paintings that you have in your inventory that you can show people how to paint.
Yeah, I did learn on my own. I painted on my own for a little bit, and then I started seeing, there's so much tutorials on YouTube, so I started watching some, but watching someone and trying to do what they do can be hard, because they have these specific ways that you got to do it, and sometimes people make it so complicated, which it doesn't have to be. So I stopped that and then painted on my own again. But most of it's self-taught. I did sign up for 8 drawing lessons. There was just too many rules. I did 4 classes and I quit the class.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit more of a free, kind of more playful, more for the enjoyment than for tech. I do teach a lot of techniques, and I've learned a lot over the last 10 years, but mostly self-taught.
So how did you?
I got into art a lot when I was young. I've been sketching and charcoal. That's kind of my thing. I love doing that. So when we were painting at our last event, of course I had to go black and white because that's kind of my shtick. I like the grayscale stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it brought back all these things, because I hadn't really done any physical art. Like, I've done a lot of computer graphics, which is kind of what I do now. But I hadn't done the physical drawing, painting stuff. So when we had our event, it just brought back all these old memories of doing it. So yeah, it was very cool to play with you that day on the canvases. So yeah, I love that. Looking forward to the next one as well.
So how did you decide to go from, okay, I like art, I like painting, and I'm enjoying this, to I'm going to teach people how to paint, to I'm going to monetize this now and make a living from doing this? Can you walk us through that whole like transition? Because that's a big leap to go from 911, well, first of all, immigrant to a new country, one operator, to now artist, teaching artists. Like, how does that work?
When I started painting right after I came, it wasn't 6 months and someone bought a canvas from me, which just blew my mind, which was great. I took the money straight away, went and bought more art supplies. Of course, that's what all artists do.
Yeah.
And
most business people do.
True, right? Just add on to it.
Yeah.
And I started painting more and more, and I did an art show with the Arts Council at the rodeo in Cloverdale, and next to me was a friend of mine, Christine. She was selling jewelry. So while we were there, of course, the way I am, I gave her a canvas and paint and said, paint with me. It was pretty quiet there. I went home with more paintings than when I went there. Because I was painting the whole day. You're there the whole time through the show. Anyway, so Christine then contacted me a few weeks later and said it's her birthday party. She knows that I've been painting at home with friends, and she wanted to have a paint party at her house. So I grabbed a bunch of brushes. I went to a store that sold a little kit, more for kids, but it has an easel and a canvas. So I took all of that to her house, and that was the first mobile art party. And then I did one, and then from her house, there was another one. And that's when I realized that this is my hobby it's a self-sustaining hobby, because I was looking at working full-time, and I started looking at working at the 911 center. But the business was starting to pick up. I realized that I can make a living. It's hard work, and it's a lot of effort to take everything, but it was just so exciting to see everyone do it and what happens. And the more I did it, the more excited I got, the more excited everyone else got. And it kind of went from hobby to business by accident.
Yeah. Well, that happens to a lot of good entrepreneurs too. It's like, I really enjoy doing something, and then it's like, how can I do this as a career? And then you obviously had some entrepreneurial in South Africa. You had a scuba school. So that was, obviously a good start for you. And so what has been some of your biggest challenges then, with, other than this now, the time now, but like, what have been some of your greatest challenges in the last, say, 4 years, you said, since you really started doing this?
I think my biggest challenge is, well, bookkeeping. It's the admin, because as a creative person, you and I know a lot of artists do this. They don't see their craft as a business, and it's to make sure that you treat this as a business. You still have to do the admin, you still have to market, you still have to do the bookkeeping, you still have to do all these things. So and I'm a mess when it comes to admin. Well, apparently I'm very organized, but I feel like I'm a mess because I want to be more creative. So I'm pretty creative when I do my admin too, which is a mess in itself. But my biggest challenge was always finding the balance between being creative, because I start getting stressed about bookkeeping and all these things, and then you can't be creative. So I had to force myself and set up a schedule for, this is admin time, this is creative time, you've got to create new paintings, you have to have your schedule and make time for everything. Because I found myself working last year and the year before, when I opened up the studio, I found myself there 6 a.m. and going home at 11 o'clock. Yeah. Which is not how any entrepreneur should do it. Like, you can't give to other people the great service and everything you want if you are completely drained, and if your cup's empty, you can't fill other people's cups. That's true, yeah, that's the biggest challenge, was knowing to have that scheduled time for everything, and also to get help. I'm a person that just jumps in and does everything, and it's so neat when I got a bookkeeper. Like, I could breathe. And then I had someone helping with admin, and I could breathe. And then I was able to create new projects and new. So I can see my business going like this. And I never went to business school or anything like that. So you're learning on the go, which is crazy, but.
That's awesome. That's what entrepreneurial spirit doesn't need any education. I think it's just, you just need to go and have a passion for it and want to work for yourself. And I think all of us have a little bit of a screw loose in here in somewhere, because why would we want to do that? And it's just, it's crazy.
Did you say a little bit of a screw loose?
Well, yeah, some people have a bigger screw than others, Reiner.
Man, yeah. Entrepreneurs, they have life really, really easy. Sure.
Yeah.
Get right on that.
Not at all.
No kidding. I get a kick out of that. Everybody thinks that it's this leisurely life, you own your own business, la-ti-da. What do you do? Go to the Bahamas? Like, holy shit, people.
Yeah. Well, you go to wherever they tell you to go. Wherever your customers are, that's where you go.
Exactly.
And that's kind of.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Freda.
Right now is the place where you can really see how resilient and how strong entrepreneurs are. Right now, with the whole of this COVID situation, I've never seen. I love my entrepreneur friends, and to see on social media and the emails and everything, I can see how everyone is changing their business, the way that they approach their customers, and it is so delightful to see that. And it encourages me as much as all the things that I've been doing have been encouraging other people to take steps. And are a creative bunch.
And there always needs to be that personal interaction between you and your customers and your clients and everything else. But the ability to try and do it with technology, even though it is limited, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. You seem to have found, and you came out straight away with it. How did you come up with the idea to have the paint nights for free? Because like all this went down, and then all of a sudden it was like, we're all in lockdown and we can't go anywhere. We can't do anything. And then except watch TV, and it's absolutely terrible. And then all of a sudden I get this thing on my Facebook saying free art party on Thursday night or whatever it was, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like that's a great idea. How did you get to that? Like,
and I think it was like that was 17 March or 18 March. It's quite a long time ago. It was right at the beginning.
Yeah.
I was actually very depressed and upset and sad because I did so many refunds. So January generally is a quiet month. February I start picking up, but in March to just before the summer starts, so up until June, is my crazy time. Not as crazy as October, November with Christmas, but this is my time that pulls me through the summer.
Yeah.
And as I was receiving requests for more events, I started seeing this COVID scenario starting, and I knew that, it's not going to be good, not for my business. I actually, the other day when I logged in, it says my revenue for the last month is minus 1%. I don't know how you get to minus 1%, but I guess it's all the refunds.
Yeah.
I did more refunds than I did sales this year. And I'm talking 400% more. Like it was crazy. I did thousands in refunds because events just started coming in, and I was taking bookings all the way to September. I had 11 really big corporate events booked, and they all just canceled. It's not even there's 2 or 3 that postponed, but I got that, and I was, people need to paint, because I know what it did to me. So I was feeling heavy and anxious, and I thought, I'm just going to post it. I'm just going to put it out there and post it. And even the first night, I think I had 70 or 80 people, and I was blown away. I didn't expect it. On my 3rd event, or the 4th one with the butterfly painting, the one that's in the back there, I had 600 people paint with me. It was
That's awesome.
Crazy. And when I came up with this, the more I did it, the more I realized how much people needed it. I can't stop now. I have to go on. And then I started getting messages for Zoom events to do more Zoom parties. And so literally it came from a really dark place where most great ideas come from, is this dark, horrible place. And I didn't know what to do. And I thought, I'm just going to go live because I know how good I feel when you do something for someone else, and maybe something will happen somewhere. But that's how I came up to it.
And that's a great like being of service is a big thing in my own life. And what I try to do is I just try to be of service and however I can and try and help out. And and that comes from, it helps me to be a better person and to see that I can give back and everything else. But what you did, the place that was, and I could just imagine that because, you know, we have a business that we had to shut down as well. And it's actually harder to have a business shut down than it is to have a business running. People that have shop that they don't know what it's like to run a business. It's busy, it's hard, whatever, but try and shut that business down. And to keep people from coming in through your doors is actually harder than keeping your business open. So, you know, it's amazing. And then, and when you're on there, it's a great friendly feeling. And when you talk to everybody, like we can talk back, but it's on Facebook Live, so we can't talk back. But we end up, when you say hi to people, it's like, "Hi, Freda," and you're waving at them, and you say hi, even though you can't hear, you can't hear us. And it's great. It's a great fun event. You know, God bless you for doing that and coming up with that idea, because I think it's an absolutely amazing, and it saved a lot of people's like sanity, I think, in that, like, that's the thing that we can't quantify is the effect of all of these lockdown procedures on people's mental health. And even if one person has benefited psychologically or mentally or emotionally from painting with you, that makes it worthwhile, I think. And for you to do that, good for you. And Reiner, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, actually, I want to bring this conversation into something that we've been talking a lot about, because as you guys know, with Think Referrals, we do all our Zoom meetings, and the conversation always goes to what's the future going to look like. Now, this brings up some interesting potential here, doesn't it? So instead of going to all these live events with all the equipment and all that kind of stuff, is there some potential for this digital type stuff to be going on in the future for you?
Oh, definitely. Yes. I am doing online classes. I'm actually, behind me, you'll see that there's a bunch of paintings all in the same colors. So I'm creating a series of videos for people to paint these. And I started an online school so people can go and buy these at a really good price and they can sit at home and paint. And then I also started a membership. So people have now gotten to know me through what I offer. And I can see, I knew that people would enjoy this and this would be good for them, but I didn't realize how much people needed it. I have to say that many nights after a session, I would go and sit and read the messages, or the next day I'll get messages from people talking about their mothers or their aunts that painted with me. And I'd be sobbing because it is amazing what it's done for others. Because there's a person in Westminster, and he wrote to me and said that he is isolating and he's all alone. And he said, my videos with talking and the way that I instruct and the way that I kind of pull people in, he didn't feel that lonely while painting. And he said, a lot of instruction is given, this is it, and it's called, and you go do it. But when I instruct, I want people to feel comfortable and loose. So I realized that I can do this with videos and a membership where people can come in every month and come back for more and learn more. But with that also, it's not just painting instruction, it's literally teaching people to let go a little bit and mindfulness and not to be so hard on themselves. We are very hard on ourselves and people are not kind to themselves. And yeah, so why not make a business out of getting people to get a little loose and paint and relax and have fun?
Well, and I like, you know, you have the wine evenings on the Friday nights, the date nights. So like those are great for like the husbands and the wives after the kids go to bed, and you can have a paint night after the kids go to bed and have a glass of wine or pop or whatever, a beer, whatever you and then you know what's really cute, and you've had your mom on the show too. That's kind of funny. Your mom is here, and she's here for the long haul because your mom came to visit you from South Africa for a period of time, but she came pre-COVID lockdown, and now she's here. So how's that all going, and how is that impacting your events?
Oh, so I was planning on taking this year off a little bit and really spend time with my mom. I haven't seen her in 8.5 years.
Holy
wow!
So that's a long time. And then she was going to arrive on the 4th of March was the day that she arrived. But there was a time, and we were this close to moving her arrival date till somewhere the 18th or something like that. And if that happened, she would not have been able to come. So she arrived on March 4th, and she was here. And then I think on the 14th or the 15th, it was declared a pandemic, and travel was banned, and borders were closed. And seeing how things are going in South Africa and how it's here, she's in a really good place. We looked at repatriation flights and all of that. The amount of money to get her back there, and she's living the life here. This is paradise. I was telling her that we are locked down together. Like this is the best way to spend time together after so long of not seeing her. So 8.5 years. And when I started talking to her about these videos and going online, she loved it. And then I started dragging her in, and I have to tell people she's here. And she has her own little fan club now, I have to say. So when I start painting, people would come and, is mom there? Can mom come say hi? And my mom's very shy. And even the first day she was painting, she goes, I don't want to paint in front of your husband. I'm like, Mom, relax and breathe. And I get these messages all the time from people that say that they didn't go to paint nights because they didn't want to paint in front of other people. And I'm like, my mom is going through exactly the same thing. Now she's painting upstairs. My husband's upstairs. My youngest son is going to arrive soon. And it's neat to see her go through the change. And she's so okay with being here. It's been wonderful for both of us.
That's fantastic. And she's a pretty good artist too.
She is, right?
She's very good, yeah. One of the cute stories we went on, my wife and I, we went on to your paint night, the first one I saw. I don't know if it was your first, I think it was your first or second or third one that you had done. Mm-hmm. And then we see the people on Facebook that joined the group, and it was like friends of mine that I didn't know they were going to join, and they had found it from other places. And then I saw my sister-in-law in Edmonton was on there, and then she was doing a Zoom party with her, not a Zoom party, but the Skype party with her sisters on doing the paint night. So they did a FaceTime paint night together with your Facebook Live event, and it's pretty cool how people are, regardless of the lockdowns, they're still social creatures, and they're still going to come up with their best ways to socialize, and it doesn't replace that personal aspect, but it makes the best of it, I think. And good on you to start this, and I wouldn't have known that. And then we started texting, and I got to catch up with my sister-in-law and sent pictures of our pictures, and yeah, so it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I have a lot of people that have family in Toronto and in the States, and they all just come together. So you have people from all over North America, but they're all doing the same painting, and they're sharing. And what's neat is a lot of people are sharing how they're doing it. So I'm teaching others, because I get messages from people like, I want to paint, and I see that people were FaceTiming. How do you do it? And so some people have me on the TV up there, and then they all have their small devices, so cell phones and iPads with the family on it. And it's pretty neat to see how people are coming together kind of apart. It's pretty neat. It's great. And with our event on a week from today, we're doing our event. So I don't know if we're going to have it up and running or to promote it, Reiner, but we'll see what we can do to get it out there.
Well, I'm going to try and have this podcast up tomorrow.
Oh, good.
You don't have to do and this is kind of where for Common Sense Warriors is kind of an interesting thing, because the biggest stress for Reiner and I to get guests in was to arrange the guests and the boardroom that we had to use, and then all the equipment that we had bought last year for all this stuff. And now we can do it virtually on this. I don't think it's going to be as great a quality, but it's still going to be pretty good, Reiner, right?
We'll see. This will be my first try. We'll see what happens.
Awesome. So with Freda doing this event, and we were worried about the charity not getting a big chunk of the revenue. Well, this my wife she's a big fundraiser, and why don't you just try and do it online and have silent auction while the paint night's going on? I said, okay, well, that might work. And then we figured sponsorship would work just as well, and it's a lot easier to drive corporate, because business owners and business people, entrepreneurs, whether or not the powers that be want to admit it, but they're extremely generous in our communities, and our communities rely on that. Small business, like soccer teams have sponsors from small business, baseball teams, hockey teams, all your local Cub Scouts, Brownies, they're all sponsored by small business. They've all been funded by small business. Small business is desperate to get out there and help people in our community, and we're a part of the community. Small business is an amazing part of our community and the infrastructure and the fabric of our society, and they've come up with sponsorship for the paint night with Freda in droves, and we're going to raise probably more money doing it virtually, Reiner, than we would have having the night personal.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Well, I think we're going to come to about the same. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we'll raise at least as much, or probably, you know what, you're right. It's going to be more.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, you think about that, and the people that don't want to come to paint nights, first of all, they don't have the time to come. When life is going on, people don't have time to do it. But when you have the ability to do it virtually, and now we have basically everybody's, like, you can't tell me you're busy because right now, except you're busy watching the news. So come paint, like literally, you don't have anything else going on. So come paint and listen to Freda tell you how to paint, and you'd be amazed what you can come up with, because I am not an artist. I suck at art, but some of the paintings I've come up with are actually pretty decent, and with the help of Freda helping me breathe through everything. Where did you come up with that one? Because that's the big famous thing is you, and I didn't notice it until you say, "Are you breathing?" And I'm like, no. You always remind, are you breathing? No, I'm not breathing, because you hold your breath and you're painting and you're doing. How did you come up with that?
Oh, I used to see. So in the last 10 years, 9.5 years that I've been doing this, I've painted with close to 20,000 people. And when people paint, I can see them stop breathing. So I used to walk around and I go, are you breathing? Because people literally would breathe. I can see on their posture that they are just concentrating. And then I realized people go as soon as I say it. So then I started doing it more and more. Yeah. And to drop your shoulders, I can be very tense like this, and I would tell people, just relax, hold the brush a little further back and breathe. Yeah. And no, I literally just saw so many people go, just kind of hold it in and do that line, and I breathe.
Yeah, it's a wonderful idea, Freda. I can't thank you enough for, you've helped my family relax some evenings that we've been, stressed, busy and upset and scared and not knowing what the unknown is, and to have an hour and a half on the internet where you can paint, and you don't think about the COVID, you don't think about being stuck in your house. You don't think about any of that stuff. You think about your painting that's in front of you, and you think about just trying to make that painting as good as you can, and listening to your voice and helping people get through this. And it's been wonderful. So I again, thank you very much from my family to you. And thank you very much from Reiner and I to help us get this event for for the charities that we like to support. I'm probably going to do more of these with you, and guaranteed I'm going to do.
Sounds good.
Fundraising. So, Reiner, you have anything else you want to add to the questions? Do you have anything hot button questions you want to ask Freda?
No, but I do want to, if this is as successful as we think it's going to be, because we are going to have GoFundMe running as well during the event. We'll have all that up. I would consider doing another fundraiser like this, even when life gets closer to normal. I like the online idea of this paint night. I mean, we are social people, and it is cool to get together at an event, but if we can all have our own little watch parties while we're doing a fundraising event, this could be like a very cool new thing. And I'm one of those people that looks at this pandemic as a potential release of some of the potential that we have, because I think we've been holding ourselves back as a society because we're so ingrained, we're so set in our ways that I'm starting to see this as a great potential new direction for us all to want to get to. And I'm not trying to say that we need to like separate ourselves and be more social on social media or something. I'm trying to say that we can do a little bit of this and we can do a little bit of the in-person stuff, and we just need to embrace more of our technology capabilities. I mean, I just love this idea. And even doing our podcast online, I mean, we spent a lot of money on equipment, and now I'm sitting here going, wow, if we can do this digitally online, that will make everything else that we've done up to here kind of redundant. So this is all just cool for me. I mean, I am a certified tech, but I'm totally a geek. And I mean, I look at this stuff and I geek right out. I'm loving every bit that we're going to come away with this from. I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic. So I'm really looking forward to see how you take your business to the next level doing this. So it's going to be very cool. We'll have you on again, maybe next year when we're a little more into this, and we'll see sort of how you're doing at that point. But yeah, I really appreciate you coming on and being our first guest on our first remote podcast. So
yeah, no, Freda, thank you so much for coming on, and thanks for being very, I don't know what the word is, you're very accommodating for two schmucks like Reiner and I, to help out with our charity event and all that stuff. So thank you so much. And go ahead, Freda.
I say you are most welcome. I'm very excited to do this for everyone.
Wonderful. And we're going to promote this now all week. So we got a week so May the 7th is the Stay tuned on Facebook. We'll have it on all our Facebook pages. Freda, you're going to have it on your Facebook page. And we're going to promote the crap out of this, and let's get more people on your paint night, and let's get more people painting and relaxing and trying to have some fun. It's fun art, not fine art, right?
There you go. Yes.
Such thing as mistakes. There's only happy accidents, right?
Oh, you got it. Yes. Oh, I love it.
All right. Thanks so much, Freda.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Have some common sense out there.